Well, good evening, everyone. We are getting everything set up here. The Sylvania Cup Series running at Armory Digital Super Speedway for 400 miles tonight. And front row, we've got the two Jaguars of Kellen Relic and Al Bunch. So it's good to be in a Jaguar starting up on the front row here tonight. Behind them, you've got the 7 of Tyler Landa and the 56 of Andre Stefan. Monty Shangle and Kara Shangle. Liz Shangle and John Roman. Alan Taylor, who was your season opener winner in 2023, perhaps looking to win on the season opener here tonight in that 28 Ford alongside Chris Hergeson. Then we got Tyler Aspinall and Nate Newman, Jacob Shangle and James Reddick, our 2023 Sylvania Cup champion Atley Wiese with his teammate Cam Jordan alongside of him, Guido Piano and Tyler Shangle, Trevor Walker and Matthew Fastnot, Jack Ross and Bella Fawn, followed by Gavin Legend and Daniel Paulus Jr., Louis Trost and Lynn Farrell, Bob Leader and Chaz Chadwick. Chadwick starting deep in the field here tonight, as well as his teammate, Ewan Wood Army, who was the runner-up in 2023. Nelson Chacon, Chris Harvey making his series debut here in the Cup. Fireball Robert, Jordan Walker and Tayden Berggren, Justin Daytu and John Brinker. Brinker also making his series debut here tonight. Then you got Ant Meeperson and Tristan Reams, Dalton Scott and the 90 of Gavin Gray, Brian DeBlank and Zach Armstrong. So the entire Audi camp starting towards the back here tonight. Race will probably be about 2 hours, 2.5 hours on pace here tonight. Could see a quicker one than that if we get minimal cautions. 154 laps could go by in rather quick order. We saw a caution-free truck race here. Well, I take that back. I do believe we had a caution, but we didn't have any big wrecks, so could see more of that here tonight with the Cup. It's interesting with Jaguar on the front row here, part of the experimental manufacturer group. They are fighting to stay in the series. So 4 different manufacturers will be on a manufacturer battle separate of the rest of the field, and the bottom 2 manufacturers will get dropped from the series. So there's a lot of bragging rights and a lot on the line for these manufacturers to stay within the Cup Series. A 1-2 knockout punch for qualifying is going to go a long way for the Jaguar camp. Green flag waving, and here we go. It's going to be fun watching all the newcomers. As you see there, Andre Stefan in the 56. This is his series debut in the Cup side of things. Off to the lead here. Tyler Landa in his series debut leads that lap over Alan Taylor. And Jacob Schenkel way down low here with Tyler Aspinall up in the middle. Alan Taylor leading the way. Trevor Walker third in line on the bottom side there. Does seem like we're going to have a bit of a rough go here tonight on the frame rate with Armory Digital Super Speedway. I was trying a few different things on stream, perks and different things. The music might not be something we can do for many future streams if it ties up this much frame rate, but we're rolling, things are going. Jacob Schenkel with the lead lap there that time, so a conveyor belt of lead changes at the front of the field. Welcome in, everyone. Hopefully maybe grab a bag of popcorn, some chips, a soda, because it's going to be in for the long haul here tonight. Cup Series is a little bit on the longer side with the action and more of an endurance feel to it. One thing I guess we can kind of highlight throughout the broadcast here, since most of the time super speedways tend to just be a revolving door of who's leading. Go over any of you that are new to the series what we had in 2023. So right there in the 19, about to take the lead, Atley Wiese was your 2023 Sylvania Cup champion, and kind of did it unexpectedly, as he had signed up to be a Sylvania Busch Light contender at the start of the year. Had a couple one-off starts here in the Cup Series, and top 5 after top 5, he made some promising, it really looked promising from the first start in his Cup Series debut that Joe Gibbs extended him an extension to race full-time for the rest of the season on what originally was a part-time basis. So growing from that, being a part-time driver, basically graduating to full-time Cup in only his third career start, he raced and he put on one hell of a season in 2023, earning a championship in the most stellar of fashions, obviously not being in every race at the start of the season, so he missed 3 races and still outpointed the rest of the field with style. Now, it didn't go quite, without any challengers, as our biggest contender to fight Atley for that championship was the one of Ewan What Army. What Army had worked his way up the ladder and really didn't do any much in trucks. He started his career in the Busch Light Series and won the 2022 Sylvania Busch Light Championship, earning him his full-time seat in 2023, of course. And he proved that he deserved to be here, holding the candle up to Atley when it mattered the most, fighting for the championship at the end of the year. So Ewan What Army might have a little bit of vengeance to pay back on Atley for coming just short of winning the championship in 2023. It's going to be fun to watch the rivalry between those two continue to grow. They race each other clean. They race each other with class. And as you can see right now, both of them up in the top 5. Proven that last year just it wasn't any fluke that they are prime contenders for this championship. James Reddick there in the 62. That's an impressive entry. Having catapulted from trucks all the way into the Cup circuit here, not even making any starts in the Busch Series, which is now known as the Bridge to Cup Series. I apologize, it is ratchety, and we're having the game push itself to the limits right now. Or at least my computer pushing itself to the limits. Looks like fastest lap belongs to Tayden Berggren. Tayden unfortunately not in the top 15. So that speed maybe getting held back a little bit deeper in the field. James Reddick in his Cup Series debut is going to lead a lap here at the line. 3 by 4 by 3 wide throughout the mid-pack there. Keeping it clean so far. We've seen some paper-thin positioning between cars. It's just a matter of inches out there on the track. Nelson Chacon moving through the field here, about to take the lead. I'm gonna hop around a few different camera angles maybe to try and see. I'm going to turn my fan on to keep my computer cool here. Hopefully that doesn't pick up in my mic. If you hear the fan blowing through the mic, let me know so I can adjust accordingly. Look at that. We've got about 10 frames per second better already. I think my computer is getting a little bit on the baked side. So hopefully... Hopefully. A lot of brand new cars out there. It's always fun to see the season opener and all the hard work put into getting these cars on track. It's impressive. Amongst the active drivers, we don't have very many people that have won a season opener. I was looking back at the stats, and we've only had 2 different people on 3 occasions of our active drivers still racing in the field here today that have won a season opener. Of course, highlighted earlier, Alan Taylor being our 2023 season opening winner from last year. But the only other driver to do it has been Tyler Shangle, who did it back in 2011 when we raced at Daytona to open the series, and 2022 at Fontana. So 11 years separated, but he's won season openers and knows how to get it done. Perhaps is more stoic when it comes to the pressures that be. You know, it's got to be a pressure cooker out there knowing that this is your first opportunity to get a win each season, and the stakes all that higher makes it, you know, hard to win these season openers. And then mix in all the new people that have never raced a cup race and different factors, championships and manufacturer changes. You know, the list goes on and on. that there's a lot of factors working for or against you to get that win. Okay, now that things have kind of settled out here, looks like we've got some less choppy, running at about a solid 16 frames per second here tonight, which I believe that's just Armory Digital Super Speedway and the intensive amount of background objects that are loading in on the track. Plus, this ICR mod is very robust. I gotta give Mystic credit for putting together such a stellar NR2003 mod here. It's my go-to now for all my Cup Series action. The cars look kind of boxy. I've heard some people say that they look like trucks even, which I don't really see that. I guess different sets of eyeballs see different things, but they do look like race cars to me. And the fun part about it is the customizable features with all these cars, that we can change the manufacturer, the tires, the windshield banner. It's pretty it's a good mod. So Kara Shangle down low there, 3 wide for 5th place. Guido Piano up there on the high side in the gold and white Boeing entry. He there is our 2022 USA Trucks champion. Back when the Truck Championship would earn you a berth in the Cup Series, Guido Piano rode that victory all the way up to the highest level. As you can see, even he's got a neat little logo indicating Truck Champion there on his rear quarter panel. Three wide there with Aspinall, Wiese, and Newman. Reddick going low here. Seen some different veterans at the front of the field too. I haven't seen Nelson Chacon running front of the field like this in quite a while, so good night for him on tap. Bob Leader with a good run there in the PPG inner. Oh, it's getting, that's 5 wide. I see 5 wide right there. It's impressive that they can go 5 wide without causing pandemonium. Level heads prevail here as they continue to go onward and no longer running 5 wide at the front of the field. It really is a new era of the Sylvania Cup Series, where it's been around since 2010. From 2010 to 2021, I hosted it solo without broadcasting or promoting it online. But come 2022, that's when I started to get the bug to try and get it out there, make it more prominent, get a following, get, put the series a little bit more on air for other people to see. And this right here 2024 is the first season ever that we've never had a real-life driver in the field. And by that I mean last several years we've had the likes of Jimmy Johnson, Scott Dixon, Will Power, all three of which are champions of the series, racing amongst us standard, non-race car drivers. I guess I can't say that for everyone in the field. We do have a couple real-life race car drivers gracing the entries here. But yeah, this is the first season ever with none of the real-life drivers taking wins away from us. So that's a huge deal, because now we can kind of start to form an identity around the series regulars that we have here. Obviously, veterans that have been part of the series, such as the whole Shangle household, family and friends, those that I have put in the cars since 2010, Dalton Scott and Kellen Relic. It's nice to see that they kind of have their lasting power, their staple of the series, and now we get to build on that, and the likes of Atley Wiese, Ewan Wood Army, Chaz Chadwick, Matthew Fastnot, and now even newcomers like Chris Harvey and James Reddick. It's gonna be exciting. John Roman leads over Gavin Legend here. Kellen Relic up to third. Here comes Taden Berggren in the picture for the first time tonight. He was fastest for a moment, but now Liz Shangle holds the honor of fastest lap on the track. Chadwick there with Monty Shangle behind him. Atley Wiese on the low side. Taden Berggren's got the team right there, 42 and 43 running side by side. Al Bunch cycling back to the front. Looks like our pole setters of Al Bunch and Kellen Relic finding their way back up here again. Atley Wiese actually is already running off of a victory. He closed out 2023 with the last race of the season winning, in line of winning the championship. So he's on a one race winning streak looking to add it up to 2. And we've seen things like this before where drivers go on a tear, win 2, 3, 4 races in a row. We've never seen 5 in a row, obviously, and we're so far behind. We're so far from that being realistic, but it could happen. You never know. Here comes Al Bunch alongside Atley Wiese. Tyler Landa there in the 7 car as well. That's an interesting entry with the Shangle Toyota Racing, brought to us by Kara. Kara formed an alliance with Toyota, so now Shangle actually goes out and races 3 different manufacturers, with Jacob, the home team for Ford, as well as Monty in a Ford team. Tyler Shangle, the 2014 champion of the sport, runs Dodges out there. So that's about roughly a third of the manufacturers on tap from the Shangle household. And there we got Bella Fawn moving to the front. An interesting lead change here. Bella Fawn very well might lead her first career lap here. Yeah, Kellen's going to get just in front of her. That was a tight one at the line. Kellen Relic led the lap there. Daniel Paulus now takes the lead over. That is a DRS M. Danny Ricardo says Motorsports. Keeping it PG. It's not exactly the team name. If you're part of the server, you know what the team name actually is. But it's fronted by Jack Ross. Jack Ross out there in the 00 Hooters entry. And his teammates are the 62 of James Reddick, the 99 of Daniel Paulus. And there's at least one more car. Once I see it, I'll mention it. I just can't remember off the top of my head who their 4th entry is. Well, perhaps maybe they're only a 3-car team this year. Oh, wait, it's the 22. That's who it is. It's Trevor Walker in the 22 that is the 4th entry for DRSM. Kind of getting a glance here at the back half of the field for the first time tonight. The Audi team was left in a little bit of turmoil when the courting fiasco hit the fan. And it looks like they're a bit behind on R&D for those cars, running all 4 of them at the back of the field here right now. But all that means is they've got room to grow. There's nowhere but up. The Audi entry, that's the first time Audi has contested racing here in the Sylvania Cup. They made it the 9th different manufacturer here in 2024. There's Zach Armstrong. He has lost the draft, so Trevor Walker pitted. And it's going to be hopefully not a day ender for the 22 there. Jordan Walker going to take the lead here in his series debut. Looks like Monty's going to lead the lap there. But James Robert with a solid run on the inside should be able to secure the lead briefly. And Al Bunch to the lead now with a push from Matthew Fastnot and Gavin Legend. Monty gets shuffled up high here. Oop, Atley coming down pit road. It's crazy, there's so many single car pit stops here. That's going to be tough without a drafting partner when you come back on track. With all these single car pit stops, you almost got to wonder. A little bit of separation here from the front pack. The second pack looks to be destabilizing a little bit. They've really dropped off. I wonder if that's led by someone that's running short on gas or what. We're going to see more come down pit road this time, almost certainly. Lead pack stays out. Al Bunch to pit road. Nate Newman, Andre Stefan, Tyler Landa, Taden Berggren, Wood Army, DeBlanc, Fireball Robert, Brinker, and Gavin Gray. Atley rejoins the track, but looks like he's going to be a sit and roadblock until he gets some more cars around him. Now we got a bunch of them coming off pit road here. You can't really see with the track design the way it is. Lead pack really staying out a long time here. This is going to really kind of mess things up on pit strategies. Where we had one large group, I think we're going to see more like 4 or 5 different groups once this all sorts out. And let's crunch the numbers real quick, since this lead pack finally pits on lap 34. That means they could make it with 4 pit stops, and their last pit stop being on lap 136. So it's really going to be within a window on who's got the better strategy right here. It's not going to turn into a fuel mileage race, that's for certain, because they've got enough that they could go almost to lap 170 if they had to pit a 5th time. But there is no lap 170, obviously. We're on a 154 lap race here tonight. So first round of green flag pit stops done and over with as the lead crew rejoins the track here. Looks like Al Bunch, Cam Jordan, Nate Newman, Chadwick, and Atley Wiese are going to prevail in overtaking that lead pack. And I do believe Matthew Fastnot is going to be your leader at the line here, barring any other drivers that haven't pitted. Now we had two other drivers not pitted yet. So the 8 of Bob Leader and the 63 of Lynn Farrell just now rejoining the track. Lynn Farrell actually led the lap on pit road. And the speed discrepancy is going to be huge here as these guys go charging by. And honestly, it doesn't look like the pit strategies changed the whole running of this deal. We still got a pretty sizable first group at the front of the field here. Second group in tow. This still partially the first group, right on the tail end of it. Second group right here led by Andre Stefan. Ooh, even Brian DeBlanc up into the top 20 here. And 25th. Close. It's definitely improved upon where he was running before the round of green flag pit stops. Ouch, what Army suffered the most from these pit stops, it looks like, dropping outside the top 25. Tyler Shangle as well. Jack Ross. Ant Meperson, Tristan Reams, Bella Fawn, James Reddick. Trevor Walker was the first one to go down pit road, and it really looks like it's going to be a struggle for him here today. Lewis Trost right there behind him. Zach Armstrong so far off the pace, running 42nd. There we go. The rest of the first group is assembled at the front here. Gavin Legend is an interesting one at the front here. Not usually very successful when it came to trucks. Struggled, I think he even struggled in the Busch Series. And lucked his way into a Cup start here. And that could change the whole trajectory of his career with a good finish here today. Leading the way in that 89, inspired by Chick Hicks from the movie Cars. Al Bunch proven why he is your 2023 Sylvania Busch Light champion. Running up front solidly, doing his best to lead as many laps here tonight. Based on the amount of lap leaders that we've had, I think Al Bunch is leading in the category of led most so far. His basically season last, his I wouldn't say it was his, well, it was his rookie campaign because he finished more than half the races contested in 2023. And is no longer eligible for Rookie of the Year statuses in the Cup Series here. Our 2023 Rookie of the Year last season was our champion, Atley Wiese. So that was a double down for the 19 team. So sophomore year for Al Bunch, and far improved over his freshman year on the circuit, where most of the time he ended up failing to finish, not even finishing top 15 or top 20 when he did finish. So there's a little bit of movement, and a spot opened up for him to hop in the Jaguar seat for Kellen Relic Racing. And right now, looking like it paid off to make that move into the 81 Jaguar XJ, whereas last year he was driving an LFG Motorsports Dodge. LFG Motorsports switched to Honda in trucks and eventually that change came over here to the Cup Series for 2024. Looking good right now with Chaz Chadwick in the top 10. Atley moving his way back up to the front. You also got Nate Newman there in the 20. Atley took a flyer on Nate Newman, saw the potential success that this driver offered, and it was kind of one of those situations where it was like taking someone at the bottom of the list in the first round draft of the NFL. It didn't really make sense. Most people were surprised. It's like, where did that come from? But I think we're seeing here tonight that Atley was a good scout and knew what he was getting with Nate Newman here. Nate Newman now up into the top 5, now into the top 3, and he's going to give Bossman a run for the money. Right there behind Atley, here comes Nate Newman. And with the thunder from down under, Nate Newman trying to take the lead here. Kellen Relic with the lap lead that time, but Nate Newman making a bold move, taking that lead from Relic for now. Fast Knot doesn't want to play nice here with Newman. Looks like he's going to try and steal the lead away. And we're powering through this race here tonight. 44 laps. It's been about 40 minutes so far. Roughly on pace for about a 2 hour, maybe 15-minute race. Well, that was a bit of a crank it up moment for the series there. Looks like our leader's closing in on the slower traffic of Zach Armstrong. Armstrong perhaps might be able to catch draft here and stay with the lead crew, but we'll have to see. It's going to be touch and go here for a moment. Armstrong gets stuck in the middle here. Al Bunch gets by. Fastnot gets by. We'll have to see, too, if Nate Newman makes the right move. Now stuck behind the slower traffic. Hopefully doesn't get picked off here. And Newman goes low here. Jordan Walker goes low. And looks like we're going to make it through the lap traffic without too much chaos to strike. Man, it was like a dead heat at the finish line that time between Cam Jordan and Al Bunch. Hopefully we get to see something like that at the finish line. Photo finishes are rare and very few do we get to see them. But I'm liking the way this track's setting up for a finish here tonight. Especially after green flag pit stops and we still have so many drivers running at the front of the field here. And I still wouldn't count that second group out. As you can see, this lead group has really stretched it out. But with a little bit of luck, maybe that second group starts to catch up ever so slightly. Here comes the 64 Microsoft Surface entry of Jacob Shangle to the lead. And that outside line is very competitive. We're going to have to see who got credited that lap. Man, it was Jacob by slimmest of margins, 0.00. So that would have been a photo finish right there, folks. If the race ended on that pass there. The outside line is actually competitive, which is impressive. It's not very often that you see an outside line that's fast and competing with that inside line like that. Jordan Walker in that snazzy Hot Wheels entry, painted by Chaz Chadwick. Really pretty car. Moving up into the top three here. Chaz Chadwick right on the high side there in fourth. And here we got Nate Newman joining the party again. Right there behind Kellen Relic. That pink and blue car, it's hard to miss. You can see that one from a mile away. Already 1/3 of the way here through the race tonight. And that is your 45-minute mark. So looking almost to go sub 2 hours at this rate, which would be a great way to start off the season with a quick race. An action-packed one for that. We've had a lot of lead changes. We've seen teams, it's kind of been a team tactic deal. When you think about it, super speedways are often successful when you work as a team. Whoa, Chadwick almost got wrecked there. You could have saw that. That could have went really bad. Chadwick and Bob Leader connected there, and they continue onward. Bob Leader gains the lead from that sketchy play. So I think once we start getting this deep into the run, though, these drivers, their reaction times start to drop just a little bit. Even there, you had 5 wide, and Al Bunch just trying to hold on for dear life right now. Went from front of the field, now dropping to the back of this lead pack. In the middle of the Hornet's Nest there. Chadwick leads that lap. 4 wide in the middle. And looking very chaotic. This looks like what it would look like on the last lap of the race. And we're not even halfway through. Gavin Legend fighting alongside Chadwick there. Guido Piano, who has been a very prominent figure when it comes to super speedway races. Most of Guido's wins have come on a super speedway, so it wouldn't be a surprise here tonight if he could find his way into victory lane. Gavin Legend leads the lap that time by. And the 8 of Bob Leader, 18 of Chadwick, side by side again. I don't think Chadwick wants to be up alongside that number 8 car. Kind of lets him by there, but now it only gets harder as he's 4 wide with the lap traffic of Zach Armstrong and the 2 teammates of Atley and Nate. So far, no cautions. We've went caution-free through the first 57 laps here. We're closing in on what was the truck distance on Tuesday night, which would have been 77 laps. So we're just about 20 laps shy of that mark. And this rampant pace that they're setting down, might even have to throw a competition caution somewhere in this race just to shake things up, as you've got 3 different groups of cars all separated around the track here. Only 1 car has gone a lap down, the 68 of Zach Armstrong. All your drivers still out there running, all 42 of them. Nate Newman still holds the fastest lap here this evening. Seems like he's held that fastest lap for quite a while. Definitely helps being teammates with the championship winning team. And that too is a side note that might go often overlooked, is that Atley actually bought out Joe Gibbs Racing here in the Sylvania Cup Series. So Joe Gibbs sold shop and Atley opened up TRD in the wake of that. Basically keeping things right about where they were when Joe Gibbs was running it. It's just championship winning Atley Wiese now at the helm. And solid contenders throughout the camp there with Atley, Nate, and Cam Jordan as the 3 TRD entries in the circuit here. Al Bunch putting on somewhat of a clinic here tonight, starting from the front row, leading all these laps. Even boss man Kellen Relic not too far behind there in the top 5. So, next round of pit stops will likely be coming up here in about 6 laps time. We've been green this entire time. Green flag pit stops for the first segment and potentially green flag pit stops for the second segment as well. Now, we didn't have anyone run out of gas or push it onto the very edge for fuel mileage. We saw about 4 different pit strategies across the entire field. And this lead crew that we have here obviously had the best strategy when it came to making the pit stops count the most. Lynn Farrell up into second now. That's kind of an impressive running position for that 63 Dodge Challenger, giving Tyler Shangle Racing at least a dog in the fight here. Lynn Farrell has been a staple through the series in past seasons. He has been in and out of it, and now with a full-time ride for TSR, looking to put together a promising campaign in that number 63. Lead 5 here. And there we got Nate Newman and Al Bunch pulling down pit road. Alrighty, Lynn Farrell rejoining the track here. Looks like as potentially the leader. Our lead crew still looking to be of a similar picture here as Nate Newman, Jacob Shangle, Matthew Fastnot, and Cam Jordan running at the front. Chadwick as well. More takers down pit road here. Yeah, at this rate, we might have to throw a competition caution just to get things spiced back up. But we have no reason to do that until we get deeper in the run. Could still have a caution, a wreck of some sort happen any given lap. Gonna have a brief pause here to do the 1 hour mark saving of the race to this point, which I do in every stream just so that I can keep things saved. And there we go, brief and painless. Halfway through the race at this point, so 2 hours, very doable here to get to the end of the race. it's impressive that no matter what, this lead group stays together even with green flag pit stops. I'm not seeing quite yet if we've lost anyone from this lead group. It looks like most of them have stayed together. Ah, there we go. That was one of them we lost, was Atley. So he had a bad round of pit stops that time and is now leading the second group, running 14th. But yeah, that still means we've got 13 at the lead pack here, with really only the one we lost being Atley. Okay, now we are truly at halfway. 77 laps in, 77 laps to go. I must say, Armory Digital Super Speedway, this has been just about right for a super speedway race, seeing a lot of lead changes. But the crazy part of it is the fact that we have not seen a wreck. All these drivers have been steering the wheels perfectly, keeping it out of harm's way. It's an impressive statement, showing that we truly do have the best of the best racing here tonight. That they found their way into the Cup Series not by accident, you know. That they deserved this opportunity to race here tonight, putting on one hell of a show. That was nearly a perfect arrowhead formation there. You can see it. That was pretty cool looking. Right now they look like geese migrating south for the winter. Think about it, right now all the drivers are just playing the ultra chess game right now, trying to set up success for the closing laps. We did have some smoke in the air. The one of you and What Army is off track. Perhaps he got spun out? Oh yeah, there we go. He had a mechanical failure on the number one. Brake failure for the number one. So the first failure of the night, and it's you and What Army gonna have a hard night tonight in the points tally for that number one team. So that is our first retirement on the evening. Sadly, our runner-up title contender, What Army, out of the race just past halfway here. No caution, things stay green here. Looks like they're going to get back going, though. He's going to drop to 3 laps down. Luckily for LFG Motorsports, they still have Chadwick out front here, about to take second, looking to fight for the lead on Al Bunch. And they still have the 12 of Chris Harvey in the top 15, so anything's possible, especially if we do get a caution within the last stint of the race here that allows everyone to get bunched back up. Yep, What Army rejoins now 4 laps down. He's going to need a little bit of luck and possibly some chaos to go his way to get some laps or positions back. it's also very impressive in just the few years time that the trucks and Busch series have been together, and we've already got champions from both of the feeder series running up front in these races. It's impressive to see the growth and impressive to see the status amongst the series here. Something whereas from 2010 to 2021 it was simply just the Cup Series. 2022 and on it's been the Trucks, Busch, and Cup Series, and our feeder series is working to perfection, getting the talent in the right spots to get the wins and everything else that's involved. So Nelson Chacon to the lead here. Gavin the Legend looking to fight there for the position. You got two Chevys at the front of the field. Gavin Legend led that lap this time by. Matthew Fastnot down on the low side. Wow, and after those pit stops, the new fastest lap belongs to Al Bunch. He bested Nate Newman, and these cars still have enough speed in them to put out faster laps, it seems. Four wide for second place there. Guido Piano to the low side. Good push from Cam Jordan's going to push Guido Piano up to the front here. Looks like Jacob with the lead is going to hold the lead at the line. But he's under attack by Guido Piano and Cam Jordan. Go ahead and weigh in on the poll that, that was just put up. Should we have a competition caution after the last round of green flag pit stops? Yes or no? By the way, it would look like our last round of pit stops will come around lap 136, I'm thinking. So we'll see around here at about lap 105. And then the final round of pit stops at about 1:32-ish. Meaning we would throw the competition caution at about lap 140, giving us a 14-lap shootout to close this thing down. I think that second group could contend for the win here tonight. We still have 40 cars on the lead lap, impressive as that is. And they're just shy of going a lap down, probably towards the end of that last green flag stint, if it's going to be a concern. So we'll let the fan decide if we want a competition caution or not. Obviously, I'll take the extra edge on deciding yay or nay. Oh, we got the 20 of Nate Newman coming down pit road early here. Green flag pit stops already starting on lap 96. So many single car pit stops, it's crazy. You would think more of these guys would drop off from the lead pack based on all the single car pit stops like that. Atley currently at risk of going a lap down here. I do believe he made his pit stop. So perhaps gonna go a lap down temporarily. Our lead crew still has not pitted for this round of green flag pit stops. I did feel like Nate Newman came a little bit earlier than usual. Our leader is stretching it out to about lap 100. And then, yeah, then we'd be looking at about 134 for the final pit stop. And then to follow that, about 140 for competition caution if we need it. We'll keep our eye on Atley while the leaders pit to see exactly where Atley will shuffle back into the mix. Kellen Relic staying out here. Kellen Relic actually going to put these guys a lap down. But Kellen will still have to pit here. As well as the 63 of Lynn Farrell. And there we have the final of your leaders coming down pit road. Atley was just temporarily a lap down there as he's going to be able to to gap the leaders and get away from them. Still looks like our top 13 still sticking together here. Bit of a breakaway. Well, they just rejoined the track. Ouch. Matthew Fastnot must have suffered a mechanical failure that we missed. He was not credited with a lap that last time. So Fastnot goes from running in the top 10. What exactly happens? Makes his way down pit road. Oh, did he had a brake failure too, it looked like. So just like you and What Army, the 09 of Fastnot suffers a brake failure. Seems like brakes are the strangest thing to be having problems with here, since they don't end up using the brakes much at all. So that is now 2 mechanical failures that have thrown 2 drivers a curveball here tonight. And that's 1 less car in our top group. Fastnot was looking like a good one to fight for the win here tonight. And just a little bit on the unlucky side coming towards the end of this one. Fortunately for him, he is only 1 lap down. And given the pace of the 68, if he's somehow able to get by the 68, we get a competition caution. We will do the wave around for whoever is the first car 1 lap down. So very possible that he could get back into this and be at the tail end of the field, about 40th, back on the lead lap. At this point, I have decided we will throw the competition caution and give everyone one more fair stab at it. It'll give us a better show to finish out on. I'm not one for the, for the flair, the drama, but we're trying to put on a show here still. So it's been caution free, and these drivers have been putting on one hell of a show tonight. Oh, that was okay. So that's going to make things a little bit harder for Fastnot, as the 22 is freshly put 1 lap down. Even what I'm willing to do is give a wave around to the 3 that are 1 lap down. As long as the game will be happy with me doing that, which I'm pretty sure it will be. We're past the second third mark of the race, 2/3 of the way done, 1/3 to go. 46 laps remain. Fastest lap belongs to Al Bunch, led most laps also belonging to Al Bunch. We've got 13 cars with a solid shot at winning it right now. But with the competition caution at lap 140, we could have as many as 40 cars, all with a shot to win it. Many of them have lost the lead draft due in part to green flag pit stops, which have shaken up the running order. But impressively, they have still managed to stay on the lead lap and avoid getting put a lap down here. At the bottom of the field, Matthew Fastnot and Ewan Army both suffered mechanical failures. Brake failure, or brake lockup for that matter. Something that you don't get to use much at these super speedways because your foot's usually glued to the gas pedal. Kind of weird to have brake failures. Jordan Walker to the lead here. Impressive move from the number 5. With our first race this week, we saw Trevor Walker win it in the USA Trucks here at Armory. However, he did not earn the points lead because that actually belongs to Brian DeBlank, who got bonus points for being the hard charger in that race. There's most likely going to be someone here tonight that benefits greatly from that hard charger award that we give out in the Nasser circuit of racing. I think I can look at who qualified. If you look at the standings for qualifying, for example, the 5, who's leading the way right now, has come all the way through the field from 33rd. So Jordan Walker, as he's running right now, would be credited with the hard charger award, almost certainly. The rest of them at the bottom have kind of stayed at the bottom. But yeah, Jordan Walker for sure, from 33rd up to the front of the field, having a hard charger-esque kind of race there. Nate Newman back to the lead here, holding that position over Guido Piano and Lynn Farrell. Lynn Farrell and Al Bunch hook up there on the inside. Farrell to the lead, only briefly as Al Bunch pushes it 3 wide for the lead. Nate Newman will get credit for leading this lap here. Now you gotta look towards the front. We've got a little bit of lap traffic that could mix things up here briefly. Wow, that's crazy. Tyler Shangle at risk of going a lap down here with the 90 of Gavin Gray and the 50 of Dalton Scott. So two of your champions running 35th and 36th respectively. They're going to have to defend the charge from the leaders here. Matthew Fastenot also at risk of going a second lap down. He's going to have to fight for his right to stay one lap down here. All the lappers getting freight trained here as Chadwick continues out to the lead. getting pretty chaotic at the front here as Matthew Fastnot gets one of his laps back, and amazingly, Tyler Shangle 1 lap down in that FedEx Coca-Cola number 77. It's a very rare sight to behold, seeing the winningest driver in the Sylvania Cup Series struggling like he is tonight. We're closing in on the next round of pit stops. And there you have Jordan Walker coming down pit road already. So our competition caution could come as early as the 130 to 135 range if we have folks pitting super early here. Jordan Walker is going to push the envelope for the other drivers. They won't want to stay out too much longer if the competition's pitting right now. So stay tuned, folks. It's going to get interesting here on the final restart. So we'll wait until everyone comes down pit road to make their final pit stops. That way no one gets trapped a lap down. But of course, NR could still do some NR2003 kind of things here. And we might get our first caution without even throwing the competition caution. So Chadwick showing some promise here in the closing laps, as well as Gavin Legend. Al Bunch not going away. Chadwick pit now. Gavin Legend stays out, as well as Guido Piano, Nate Newman. Those are your top three right now. Legend losing the draft, driving out a bit too far here. This is going to hurt his draft ability. What could happen here working in Fastnot's favor? He might be able to stay out a lap longer. And when we throw that competition caution, he could be very close to that. Now he's going to pit this time, unfortunately. As well as the likes of Guido Piano and Nate Newman. Gavin Legend still staying out there. So the competition caution is tied to Gavin Legend at the moment. The longer he stays out, the later it'll push that competition caution to get dropped. Currently credited with the lead. Oh, we did have a retirement. The 73 of Belafon with a clutch failure. Dead last on track. 42nd for Belafon. 22 cars on the lead lap, due in part to the fact that Legend stayed out as long as he did. Guido rejoins with the lead pack here as you've got Kellen Relic taking the lead. Gavin Legend rejoining the track here. Looks like he's going to rejoin right with the lead pack. And this right here is where we will throw the competition caution. First caution of the night. Competition caution will get it all back on one equal playing field for one more go at it. "21 laps remain." Wow, Justin Day 2 actually with the lead. That is insane. How in the world did Justin Day 2 get the lead here? He pitted way earlier than everyone. Or did he never pit? He was off strategy, so he's gonna have to pit here from the lead, unfortunately. He was trying to push it further and further. I didn't realize that he had pushed the envelope there on fuel strategy. I doubt it's a winning move, but it could change up his finishing position, especially now that he's pitting for fresh gas, fresh tires here. He could be just incrementally faster than the rest of the field. So 20 laps right now. We're under caution with 20 laps to go. I don't know if the 78 of Cam Jordan might have a... Oh, he does. He has a tire failure, so a puncture on that 78 machine is going to force him down pit road. Fortunately for him, the lights are still on the pace car, and so he'll be able to make the trip down pit road and get a fresh pair of tires. So, Kellen Relic leads over Jacob Schenkel and Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker in his series debut here. We'll count it as a series debut, even though I believe he did attempt a race at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last season. But this is his first foray into a full season of action. Okay, we'll go ahead and get ready to restart here. Drop the pace lap by 1 lap. Lights are off on the pace car. They should be getting doubled up here on the back side of the track, and we'll have a 18-lap shootout. Now is where all these moves have paid off to get these drivers to the point where they are now. "18 laps and more than 35 cars, all with a shot to win it here." Basically, we just hit the reset button. Everyone's got a valid shot here, but are they going to be able to do it in 18 laps? Green flag waving, and they're off and roaring. Jacob Schenkel takes the early lead here on Kellen Relic. Obviously, Kellen Relic and Al Bunch were the pole setters at the start of the race here, so they are proven to be the cream of the crop tonight. Guido Piano has been impressive, being a super speedway ringer of sorts. Guido Piano sitting in third right now, 3 wide for the position. Kellen Relic fighting on the inside of the 64. Takes the lead here as the two out front have a noticeable gap from the rest of the pack behind them. But the pack is materializing, and there is power in numbers here. Kellen leads lap there, 17 laps to go now. Guido Piano in third, Nate Newman peeking in there in fourth. Monty Schenkel on the scene. Whoa, that was a swerve from the 64. He overcorrected to try and break the draft of the 87, and it seems to somewhat worked here, as the 64 are still playing some games on the inside of the 87. Juking left and right, swerving side to side. Guido Piano with a good push on that 64. 38 of Monty right there in the mix. Tyler Aspinall, a name that hasn't been mentioned all night. Alan Taylor right up there in the mix. Jacob Schenkel leading the way over Guido Piano, Alan Taylor, and Tyler Aspinall, as well as Monty Schenkel in the top 5. Andre Stefan, a standout in the USA Trucks, having a good resurgence here on the late race restart. 15 laps to go this time. Al Bunch still your fastest lap setter on track. Now you got the Sega entry there of Chris Hergeson joining the party. He's got the speed of Sonic the Hedgehog on his side as he's trying to catch up to the front of the field here. Tyler Aspinall had been Chevy last year, makes the jump to Ford here in 2024. Perhaps a good change on his behalf, running with the other Fords at the front of the field here. You got 4 Fords in the top 5. The lone Toyota there in second. A Chevy, a Honda, a Jaguar. It's all kind of a big hodgepodge at the front of the field. Alan Taylor, who won the season opener last year, making his way up to the front here in a styling fashion. It's impressive the change here at the end that Jacob Schenkel had a little bit left in the tank that he was not showing. He was keeping his hand close to his chest, and this is a completely different turn of events as we saw Al Bunch, the dominant force, through the first 3/4 of the race, and now Al Bunch not even within striking distance as they run. He's stuck up high there. He needs to find an opening to get to the bottom as soon as possible. The crazy part is still not having a big wreck here. Everyone's been playing so clean, so collected. Truly a class act on the night for the entire field involved. Okay, now we're starting to see things break apart here at the front of the field as Alan Taylor playing the game of chess to try and work his way around the 64 for the lead. Jack Ross in third. That's quite the turnaround of massive proportions for the 00. Ewan What Army there, multiple laps down. Unfortunately, he's not in the mix for the win right here. Keeping it interesting running with the lead pack, though. His only hopes is that they do have a big one here and that he can maybe gain a couple spots from attrition. 41st on field, he was only able to gain 1 spot so far due to the retirement of Bella Fawn. And now we are hitting a lag spike of massive proportions here. I've never had this big a lag. 1 frame per second. Ooh, boy. Please, please, please get over the hill here. We need... Well, everything's still running. Everything is dropped to snail's pace of frame per second rate here. And I'll just keep calling it as I see it. It looks like Chris Hergeson to the lead with Tyler Shangle in second. One thing I'm going to try is unplugging my Stream Deck, maybe. Seeing if that helps. But I don't see the frame rate picking back up here for now, unfortunately. Oh yes, there we go. Stream Deck's nice and all. It really, really draws on what my computer is capable of doing. All these tools, everything gets to be in too much. And I'm just on the cusp of having to get a new computer with the better stream capabilities. Luckily, we're at the end of this one, and I don't need the Stream Deck for any gizmos and gadgets. We're back and rolling with the 10 laps to go. So everything kind of got shook up there when the frame rate dropped. Chris Harvey now to the lead. Under attack by Gavin Legend here. Liz Shangle leads the lap that time by. Atley Wiese in the mix. We've really got ourselves a barn brawl now. Who's gonna land the haymaker KO to get the job done? It's crazy that we still have this many cars within a shot of winning it. 39 cars on the lead lap, 36 of which are all separated by 2 seconds on field. So there's been a lot of movement since the final restart of the race. Andre Stefan leads this lap with Jordan Walker in second, Nate Newman up to third, James Robert in fourth, Gavin Legend in fifth. Matthew Fastnot 2 laps down, but running towards the front, hoping to get one of his laps back and maybe, just maybe, some more cars to drop out in his favor. Look at that, frame rate's at nearly 20 frames per second. So maybe the Stream Deck will get me through 3/4 of the races, and then I'm gonna have to unplug it to run the rest of them. Gavin Legend now fighting for the lead as there is 8 laps to go. Al Bunch cycling back to the front here. Al Bunch is like, hey, don't forget about me. I've been leading laps all night long, putting the fastest lap down, and I'm still in the fight for the win. Oh, and there's a blown engine from second place. This could be a big one if it's not handled with the utmost care. Everyone seems to maneuver, and I do hear some wrecking. The 63 comes to a halt on the apron. Bit of turmoil with the 43 here. Getting clipped by the 34. Oh, Brinker gets clipped there. No caution. We stay green. The battle at the front of the field rages on as Kellen Relic, our pole setter, along with teammate Al Bunch, back in the top 5. Nate Newman still with a reasonable shot at this. That blown engine really did kind of shake up the running order. Yeah, 80% damage to the engine for Lynn Farrell there, so. And where it happened, it slowed down a lot of fast cars trying to avoid colliding with the 63 as he was blowing up. Jordan Walker now up to second here. Jack Ross and the rest of the field trying to catch back up to this lead 7. There you go, Liz Shangle, Daniel Paulus, James Robert, Bob Leader, Jacob Shangle, Alan Taylor, James Reddick, and Nate Newman. Everything's kind of rubber banding back in their favor here. But laps are running out as we only have 4 laps remaining. Leader Al Bunch, another lapped car in the mix here, slowing things up. 22 of Trevor Walker. He stays high and everyone else goes low. Al Bunch leads with 3 laps to go. So many drivers in their series debut looking at a good top 10 for some of them. Here comes James Reddick. James Reddick keeping it nailed to the floor there. Going 3 wide. About to join Boss Man, Jack Ross, who's leading right now, as DRSM cracks into the top 10 for 2 of their drivers. Make that 3 because you've got the 99 of Daniel Paulus sitting right there as well. Kellen's going to lead the lap here. Man, that would be quite the photo finish if it ended right there. 2 laps remaining. We're on lap 152 of 154. James Reddick on the move here. Getting by the boss man in the 00. James Robert also making it interesting here. Unfortunately for Al Bunch, I think he's in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Getting stuck way up high here. James Reddick just holding his line here, waiting for the race to come to him. Two laps to go. They make it around and hit the white flag. It'll be an official race after that. Whatever happens, happens. We have not had the big one tonight, and it still seems like we might not have a big one here tonight. James Reddick with a late race charge. I don't think anyone saw this. To have this on the bingo card for tonight, James Reddick mounting a charge on series veteran Kellen Relic, who raced from pole position to lead at the end here. Al Bunch staying in the mix on the high side. That's impressive. He's actually running the leaders down as James Reddick takes the lead here. Daniel Paulus on the inside up to second. Tyler Landa in the midst. And that number 7, Daniel Paulus Jr., James Reddick, 2 rookies fighting for the win here now. He tried to shuffle in front of Relic to slow his pace. Relic still fighting on the outside. It's going to be a nail biter here, folks. Reddick, Relic, Paulus. Paulus now with a late race charge. Is it going to be one of these 3? It's going to be one of these 3 as they come towards the start-finish line. Kellen Relic has a nose on the outside. Kellen Relic gets the job done. Holy cow. Second and third, James Reddick and Daniel Paulus, teammates in their maiden voyage, getting top 3s. Tyler Shangle, Jacob Shangle, Alan Taylor all came towards the front here at the end. The running order at the end finished. Kellen Relic wins it by 0.005 of a second over James Reddick, over Daniel Paulus, and Jack Ross. A 2-3-4 for DRSM. Then you had Tyler Landa in 5th, Alan Taylor in 6th, Tyler Shangle in 7th, John Roman in 8th, Jacob Shangle in 9th, and Gavin Legend rounding out your top 10. Moving on to 11th, we had James Robert, Andre Stefan, the number 8 of Bob Leader, the number 3 of Nelson Chacon, and the 18 of Chaz Chadwick. Defending champion Atley Wiese brings it home in 16th. Chris Hergeson 17th. Guido Piano 18th. Liz Shangle 19th. And a disappointing end of the night for Nate Newman coming home in 20th. Then the 5 of Jordan Walker, the 12 of Chris Harvey, the 31 of Justin Daytu, the 53 of John Roman. Oh, the 81 earlier, that was Al Bunch, not John Roman. So Al Bunch with a top 10 finish tonight in 8th. 45 of Tyler Aspinall, the 38 of Monty Shangle, the 21 of Kara Shangle, the 90 of Gavin Gray, the 50 of Dalton Scott, 29 of Lewis Trost, and the remainder of your field from 30th on back. 63 of Lynn Farrell, retired after the accident at the end of the race there. 2 retirements, 37 cars left on the lead lap of this one, 30 of which were all within 8 seconds of each other on the last lap. So congratulations to Kellen Relic, one of those veterans that's been at it for 14 years that we've been running these shows. Kellen Relic breaks out with a pole position and a win to start out the 2024 campaign here. Luckily, I was able to unplug my Stream Deck and save the rest of this race as we had hit max capacity on the frame rate within the racing. So we've learned a few more things that we're just going to have to work around for the rest of the season. One race of 40 in the books here for the Sylvania Cup Series. And thank you everyone for tuning in. It was a 2-hour and 17-minute affair here at the Armory Digital Super Speedway. Jaguar looking strong. It seems like Jaguar might be one of those contenders to stay alive for 2025. Might need to get Kellen a new paint scheme there. That was his 2023 paint scheme getting the win. And that, folks, rounds out the first week of racing here in 2024. We had our trucks on Tuesday, Bridge to Cup last night, which was exciting to watch. And the Cup Series closes it out for the first week at the end of January and the start of February. And I'll get points tallied and posted on the Discord server. So hopefully we'll see you guys in the next stream Tuesday for the Trucks Eastern Division. The season opener for the East Coast will hit the high banks of Daytona. So from one super speedway race to another. And then once we get through these super speedway races, then we can actually get into the nitty-gritty of championship battles. So thanks again, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful night. And we'll catch you on the next one.